Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where we've only played 4 games in the interim. It feels a little weird to have a gap this short. I'll get you caught up though. So since we last met, which of course was Portsmouth 3-1 away from home, we then smashed Burton 6-1, Doncaster 1-0 away, Ipswich 1-1, Bolton 2-all. Both of those latter two, we took the lead and we bowled them late on. And by late on, I mean 91st minute against Ipswich, 86th and 91st minute against Bolton. You may ask, is that an FMing? Absolutely. Absolutely is. We should have had 3 probably. They should have barely had 1. Not Roos's finest showing. And realistically, that's been the problem for this season. You can see the clean sheet list there is Ipswich have 20, Portsmouth has 18, Doncaster's goalkeeper has 17 clean sheets. Pretty certain Roos is on 11 or 12 now with that Doncaster clean sheet. It's a good job we're smashing the goals in. Sonny Perkins joint top goal scorer. Yeah, central midfielder. Cool. But you can see in the league, though, at this late stage of the season, we've got a game in hand, which I think is this Lincoln game right now. 82 points for us and 82 points for Ipswich. It is the goal difference that's keeping us top. It is 12 points back to Derby, though, so barring a major incident in this latter stage of the season, I think both ourselves and Ipswich are pretty much nailed on at this point for promotion. And we do play Derby in the run-in at home, so in theory, win that one, all but certain. But today, Lincoln away, and then Charlton at home, who are 16th. Now, as minor fitness concerns as a whole, we've played a few games in quick succession. We're not far off youth intake day, actually, thinking about it, so that might come through in today's episode. Might be something that's included in the next one. So it's Roos in goal. It's Fleming back in a left-back. He stepped out of that last game with fitness concerns. Stubbs back in as centre-back. He's been out with fitness concerns. Dunkley alongside him, because Mbeti now has fitness concerns. Caprice back in. He was just straight up injured recently. Dieng, because Morton has fitness concerns. Ramirez in. Perkins in front of them. He's been fine. Sinclair in because Jay has fitness concerns. Ince on the right-hand side. Beereth up front. He has fitness concerns, but he has to start. The words fitness concerns now don't feel like real words. There's the Lincoln team. I recognise some of those names. Monsmer, Poole and Anthony Scully, in particular Liam Bridcut. Sam Long's made his way to Lincoln City. Interesting. Of course, we sold Pierce Sweeney to them. They similarly possibly don't have a backup goalkeeper on the bench because Sweeney is where backup goalkeepers normally go for other teams. Curious. But it's funny seeing Sam Long on the Lincoln bench there because in my what if football was done by counties, like cricket, experiment, Sam Long for Oxfordshire ended up getting the stadium named after him. Beereth scored. It's been ruled out. So it's just slightly weird seeing Sam Long leave Oxford. Fleming. Back to Caprice. Perkins, though. Fleming again. Ramirez on the edge. Perkins. He scored a hat-trick in one of those games recently as well against Burton. Fleming. He's now only 2 goals behind Beereth, although Beereth might have scored since I last looked. Perkins nearly gets an absolute banger of a goal there. It's very much becoming a race between Perkins and Beereth in our own top goal scorer. Beereth seemingly not in the league, though, behind, as Perkins you saw was on the top 3 list, and Beereth wasn't. Dunkley goes close. Still a threat from corners. Emma Hayes still in charge of Lincoln as well, which is nice to see. We've had no sackings there, largely because I suspect challenging for the playoff spots is where Lincoln were predicted for the season, and that's where they are currently. If Lincoln win this, they go into the playoff spots again. So in a weird way, I almost want them to win. But Beereth, Lincoln in real life had somewhat of a disappointing season. You know, after being 1 game from the championship last year, fighting to stay in League One is very much a downturn in form. They can get some of those key players back that they had last year. Rowan Johnson, for instance. It's always going to be a bit more of a struggle this year than it was last. Hopefully, Lincoln can kick on and put a challenge for next season again. As Marquis here, Sanders, Walsh, Bramall, back to Walsh, Sanders, back to the goalkeeper, Aoma, who I think's there as well already. Stubbs to Fleming. Beereth's in. He might have been offside. He was. I'm not sure what a draw does for Lincoln here. It still hurts seeing the words LNER Stadium rather than Sincil Bank as well. As I said elsewhere, I presume most people still call it Sincil Bank in the same way that even when Newcastle Stadium was temporarily the Sports Direct Arena, everyone just still called it St James's Park, and now it's back again anyway, so that's fun. Yeah, Ramirez is going to have to come off because 6.4 is not allowed. Caprice, and having both Volantes on a booking as well is always concerning. Caprice, Ramirez with a sending off already this season, or 2 almost technically, 1 rescinded. Goalkeeper for Lincoln. No goals, but a few highlights. Sinclair gets the knockdown there. Perkins. Space for... If he'd seen Beereth there, that would have been great. He was in. Interesting ball back to Caprice. Lasered to him, but Interesting ball. Morton. Caprice again. Back to Ince. Perkins finds Fleming. Oh, what a goal by Fleming. Berith booked on a 6.5 and also very tired. Temenuzakov's coming on. I'm perfectly fine with his surname now. Berith does pick up the odd booking. I know he is a pressing forward, but does get booked quite a lot for a striker. Great finish by Fleming, though. A rare goal, his second of the season. Caprice, I think, still the only one in that starting lineup without a goal. The normal starting 11. I say Caprice is part of the normal starting 11 because he has been fantastic at right back. Once I realised he was a right back. Almost in a weird way, thank you, Colin McLaughlin, for being injured for 5 months, because otherwise I would never have realised that. And I would have persisted with other players there. But I think Caprice is the third highest average rating on my entire team for this year so far. Perkins is going to have to come off. Yeah. It's only 5 minutes. Sule can do it. In fact, before that corner goes in for them, because inevitably it will do now I've done this. Sule behind, Morton in front. Told you. You know when it's depressingly predictable? On near post corner as well. What a surprise. The only reason why I persist with my corner tactic is because if they're getting these nonsense goals every 2 or 3 games from a near post corner, then I want that same thing as well. Conor O'Malley's had a blinder there. In fact, so has Kelly Roos. Both goalkeepers have had a blinder. Both of them have saved 10 shots. We just had better shots. We missed a golden opportunity there as well, clearly. I'm embarrassed by that performance. It was absolutely shameful. If you could stop drawing now, that would be great. But it does give us that 1 point's grace on Ipswich. 1 point wasn't enough for Lincoln to get into the playoffs. It did need to be a win. Oh, that's because Bolton played and Bolton won as well. But it is now 10 days till Charlton. I don't know why there's not a game on the Saturday. It's really weird. What is happening on this Saturday that meant League One couldn't play their at least fill-in game? Why did we have to play this on a Wednesday when there's nothing on a Saturday? I just want to have a look at Lincoln's schedule. Yeah, they don't have a game on the Saturday either. Why couldn't we just play this on the Saturday? Hello? Like, why did we have to do a midweek game? And considering the journey from Exeter to Lincoln, I'm surprised anyone turned up. However, yeah, Leeds won the Carabao Cup. Liverpool the only Big Six team in the FA Cup still. In fact, 3 Championship teams still in it. And one of the Premier League teams that's still in it is Sheffield United, who aren't in real life. In fact, with the Charlton game being so far away, I'm almost certain we'll get the youth intake in this episode. I just saw Tycoon Eyes Norwich. Interesting. In fact, with Newcastle having a real-life Tycoon takeover, this would only leave Lincoln as the only team in my/family interest not to have a Tycoon takeover. If I'm fighting with Newcastle and Norwich for the Premier League title by the time we get there, what a world that'll be. Hang on. How has Lars Dendoncker been allowed to go on loan to another club and I couldn't sign him because of a work permit? Okay, no youth intake, but a major injury. They suggested resting Sonny Perkins at the end of last game anyway, but he's taken the matter into his own hands and got himself injured for 4 to 7 weeks, which is awkward. It happened about half a week ago, and there is a 2-week break after this game as well because of international duty, which even League One is included in. Thank you. So technically he's only out for 2 to 4 weeks, actually, according to that now, so it very much overestimated originally, and we'll be back in 2 weeks, so he'll probably miss 1 or 2 games, maybe. Archie Collins exists, though, so that's fine. Probably going to include Tony Spriggett on the bench, though, in this situation, just so we have more options who can play in the middle. Dean Smith not been around in a while. Surely not happy with his 6 starts. I'm surprised he's even started 6. He's been terrible as well. The good news is, though, because of the gap, everyone's nice and fit. Otherwise, Roos, Fleming, Mbete, Stubbs, Caprice, Morton, Ramirez, Collins in for Perkins, Jay Ince and Berith. So apart from Collins, this is my best performing 11, technically. Caprice isn't the best right back on paper. Oh no, he is actually the best right back on paper now. Okay, cool. I've got 4 of them and they're all 2.5 stars. So actually this is my best 11 barring Collins for Perkins. And even then, Collins has been pretty good too. Lacking a little bit of match sharpness, but I did see on one of those statistic things at the bottom of the loading screens that Collins actually has the highest distance run per game of any player in this division. Very much the workhorse in that central midfield attack position for this one. So whilst it's a downgrade, it's at very least a downgrade that doesn't concern me too much. Morton to Fleming. Jay on this left-hand side. Back to Morton. Finds Fleming again. Jay on that left-hand side still. Berith has drifted out here. Back to Morton. Berith get in the box. Collins on this edge of the box now. Ramirez. Ramirez opens up a bit of space. Finds Caprice. Caprice to put it in the box or pull it back. Berith there. He did get back in the box. And Berith on his 25th goal of the season now. With Perkins injured, it's time for Berith to pull out that advantage in the I'm going to be the top goal scorer stakes. Ipswich had taken the lead in their game already as well, but Beereth's goal puts us back on top. Didn't see who Ipswich were playing. I know what my own formation is. Let's pop them up here. They're playing Northampton, who are bottom. Cool. Okay, so that is definitely going to be a win for Ipswich. Meanwhile, Charlton here haven't provided anything. I know Plymouth were beating Lincoln there as well. Heavily already, 2-0 within half an hour. Lincoln's promotion bid taking a big old knock there. Fossey finds Gilby, finds Fraser. Forward to Necke. Washington. Back to Fraser. That's a great ball in, actually. Roos with a save. I am concerned by this team getting promoted, by the way. Whilst we are sort of... The free kick to us, apparently. Oh, it's a female ref. Good to see that in the game. After playing a female manager, we've got a female ref in this match. Nice to see the progressiveness in the game in this particular episode. Back-to-back games with something positive in that respect. Right, let's get some faith in everyone. That's got everyone moving, apart from Ramirez, in terms of morale there, motivation, whatever the term I was trying to find. But as I was saying, I am concerned by this team going into the championship. We are, I think it was 7th in the season preview now with the current squad, and obviously 5 of those are loans. Perkins will try to get back. Beereth Miles will try and get back again. I don't see why not. I don't see why neither of them would perform in the next division. Oh dear, Fraser's clean through. That's a sensational goal. Roos has fluffed it there. It says Morton. Morton knows he was at fault for this one. What did Morton do wrong? Maybe he gave away the possession in the first place prior to this highlight. But that's entirely Roos's fault for coming out of the goal for no reason whatsoever. Fraser was on the edge of the box. I don't know why he was already trying to close him down that point when there were defenders involved still. Williams. Gets the bad post. Washington's there, although he will get there first. Did look like Beereth might have got there momentarily. Don't tell me Fraser's a left back. Oh no, he was just filling in this position just temporarily, seemingly. Williams on this left-hand side for them. Out to Fraser. Williams, we already know that Fraser's dangerous, so can we just get the ball off him, please? Stubbs gets that one clear. And as far as Gilby, where is Archie Collins in that situation? Why was he not prepared to receive that ball? It's got to Washington in the back post and he's headed over. But a little bit concerning lack of positioning there from Collins. He should have been in the position to get that clearance. I don't know, I said that word weirdly, but it'll be really, really nice not to draw another game. Caprice. Collins, I love the fact that my assistant manager constantly tells me to sub off Fleming because he's 1 yellow card away. If I didn't play him because he was 1 yellow card away, then I'd never play him. Matt J scored. It's a stupid, pointless. I want to celebrate the goal. I'll celebrate the goal, then I'll have that rant. Matt J gets this ball eventually, and Bette gives it back to him, and from a fairly odd position, slams it into the far corner. It's good work from Matt J there. But yes, Sports Interactive, can you stop the assistant manager telling me to sub off players who are 1 yellow card away from a suspension? Because if I did that every time, I'd never have them on the pitch in the first place. They have to get that yellow card eventually and have that. Either they play and get the yellow card and whatever, or they don't play and they never get that suspension. Jay, back post, is it 3? Hits the bar. It's a stupid thing. I'd understand it. I've just brought Sinclair on the wrong side of the pitch, but that's kind of fine because Matt Jay's a bit tired anyway. Actually, no, Sinclair on that right side will probably do fine regardless. Springett is the only other person who can do centre midfield that well. And maybe Morton or Sule. None of them playing well, none of them on particularly high fitness levels right now in this game. Morton does get that one through to Beereth, though. That's a great ball, although Beereth with a lot of work to do from here. He's made it even more work. Jay, back to Beereth. Where are we going with this? Fleming's in a bit of space. Back to Beereth again. It's found into the back post, although not quite. Caprice this time, though. Collins on the edge. Whoa. I mean, that's the second woodwork I've seen, and that's the third time we've hit the woodwork in this game. Cool, okay. And what was actually a triple substitution has actually killed the game. That particular superstition coming true here. Went on our best, but we got the result. 3 points, very much key at this stage. But with that extra point from the Lincoln game in hand that we had, that's now a 13-point gap back to Derby, which of course gives us 4 free losses with 7 games to go. 7 games to go. For some reason, my brain always thinks there's 48 games in this division. 46. Both ourselves and Ipswich getting guaranteed playoffs at this stage as well, which is my target. Where would I be without my press officer? Who'd have thought in the post-match press conference I'll be asked about my reaction to the match? Wish I knew how much I was paying you, Brooke. I'll send to the assistant. It doesn't seem to be anything important for that one. Blimey, Liverpool. I just wanted to check this because Daniel Carlisle's just become professional. He's signed his senior contract. I just wanted to check if he was related to Wayne. He isn't. But a 1-star centre-back who might be 3.5 stars, maybe 4.5 stars compared to our current squad. One to loan out, I think, next year. Took a while, but the intake's actually in. He's calling it a 5-star intake. I'm looking at it and questioning that judgment. 2 players that might be 3 stars barest minimum in our current squad. Tom Gill, a right back, which is fine, I guess. I do wonder if some of these potential ratings will go up once they come in. I'm wondering if whoever's judged these is not as good at judging character as the actual staff we've got here. Because quite a lot of last year's intakes, their potential ability rating went up a lot. Carlisle, who you just saw, was one of those. But Dave Davies, which great name, 1.5 stars, mercenary personality, might be a centre-back. He's 5'9", he's a centre-mid. Could probably do that role eventually if he had better finishing. That was worth waiting for. I'll bring you back at the end of the season. It's as simple as that. I'm sure ourselves and Ipswich will push each other all the way to the end of this season, so I'll bring you back at the end. Simple as that. In fact, by the time I bring you back, it's likely we might already have guaranteed promotion as well, not. We win the title. Wasn't expecting that at the beginning of the season, if I'm completely honest. Although thinking about it, most saves I've done in English football, I have done League 2 and then League 1 immediately back to back. It's the championship that typically ends up being a bit of a sticking point for at least a season or two. Largely because we've had back-to-back promotions to get there in the first place. You normally stall a little bit in League 2 or Vanarama to get into League 2 in the first place just because of promotion spaces. And then you normally stall around the Championship as well. League 2, League 1, Championship often ends up being a bit smoother. So I don't know why I'm as surprised as I am that we are top. Now predicted 6th, by the way, has gone even shorter. But yeah, I'll see you next time for the end of the season. Until then, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Until then, ta-ra.